There's a lot going on around us right now. So many advances in technology. There's all these different educational options now, all these flexible schooling, things like that. There's really just a mindset that's just very open to many things. And I guess, well, there's an intolerance to other things. Where does publishing fall in all of this? How do you see the role of publishing evolving in the light of things, well, you already mentioned AI, of course, that's huge right now. All kinds of digital tools, even shifting student needs. You kind of mentioned that a little bit in the last question that we have that's on our radar. There's remediation, there's personalized learning, there's all these flexible schooling options. What do you think?
So one is, it's not one size fits all. For me, I always have to remember this, what a 10th grader might need in the future is surely completely different than what a third grader is going to need.
Sure.
So you got to always, for me, I always have to remind myself, education isn't just one big pot. There's actually lots of variables that go into it.
Sure.
So that's very important because the needs are going to be different. You mentioned some of those key words, remediation or individual learning. We all know that is here today or just around the corner, or something that is very, very needed from a supporting the teacher standpoint. Because, like I said, I'm not a teacher, haven't been in a classroom with 25 kids or students at all various levels. Before it was, hey, there's not a lot of individual because the teacher's got to speak to everybody.
Right.
But today, today that ability to do this. So as a publisher, we've really got to think through the idea of how do you pull your content apart so that it can be used as needed at the individual student level at whatever grade. How can that content be used both in a classroom setting and an individual setting? Hey, I got some work I need to do and my parent's going to help me. What does the parent need to know? Does the teacher have to write specific instructions, or, there's this little app that now they can go to and the student can do it along with the parent. So publishing the ebooks came out and it just was a different way to read. Okay. So I either can read the paper, or I can read on this digital, screen. Well, now with tools, that are available, you can take it far beyond that, that different color word that you now can click on that takes you to a different experience. That is going to impact publishing.
For sure.
Is paper ever going to go away? Most people say absolutely not paper because there's this unique connection between the brain and holding something in reading the letters. I can't predict the future on that piece, but what I can say is the words that are on that page, whether printed on a piece of paper or digital, what's there for educational purposes. As a publisher, where you maybe uniquely think, a publisher, it turns on this machine and spits out paper. That dramatically will likely change. What's on the page won't dramatically change, except for how can we help students learn to the best of their ability? What are the resources that a teacher can give the student in the classroom to be able to continue to excel from an education standpoint? So as a publisher, it's looking, well, what does that mean? We think about books with a cover and a table of contents and chapters and subheadings. Even when you go to church, on occasion, the pastor will say, well, there are these verses, but those verses really don't exist. And there's these chapters, and those chapters really don't exist. That's not the way it was written. Publishing very well could turn into something like that, where, hey, it's not it might be at the objective level. Hey, what's the content at the objective level? How do you deliver that content to both the teacher and the student, as opposed to one big book? I don't know the answer to that. What I do know the answer to is that content, from a publisher standpoint, The content is what is important. The delivery mechanism is what we may end up changing over the years. And then being able to deliver it much more individually than what we currently do.
Enjoyed this short clip? That was just a sneak peek into a full episode on the Teacher Edition podcast. We are passionate about supporting Christian educators like you. Looking for more inspiration and practical strategies you could use today? Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by BJU Press.